a requirement to join to be part of CAB and IBBA?
In IBBA, yes. For EXP commercial, they do require that you join IBBA. If you're in California, I always recommend you just join CAB because CAB gives you your IBBA membership free. And that way you have access to all the California Association of Business Broker forms that we use, which is going to make life easier. So costs a little bit more to join CAB than just to join IBBA directly, but it well worth it. It's well worth it.
Okay. So the forms or the templates, you guys just use the format, the same template for is it CAB or is it IBBA on the purchase contracts?
We use CAB forms in California. In California, we use CAB forms. In the rest of the country, it's been interesting because EXP uses a system called SkySlope, and then they originally had some form templates out there that were available for people. They had a national business broker folder that had some forms in it, and then they converted over to something called SkySlope. When they converted to SkySlope forms, they didn't bring over any of the business broker forms. So if you're in California, you're lucky because you have CAB forms. If you're in Florida, then that's great because Florida Business Broker Association, they have forms. I think Texas might have forms, but a lot of the rest of the country, was just like, hey, wait, what are we supposed to do here? And, and I mean, I had another colleague tell me that when they were asking, they were basically told, well, you need to go, work with an attorney to develop forms for you. And it was like, most agents are not going to do that. They can't afford that. That's crazy.
No.
So like I said, EXP wants to have a business broker division, but they're really commercial. It's EXP commercial is commercial.
Okay. I read that there is an actual business broker division under EXP, like a special interest group. Is that true? So
yeah.
Okay.
There's a special interest group. And there are, so the way EXP has things set up, like I said, if you want to do business brokerage, when you join EXP commercial, you have to let them know you want to do business brokerage, and they will send you a business broker addendum to your independent contractor agreement. You're required to join the IBBA. If you haven't sold, so they will, if you've sold more than 3 businesses in the last couple of years, then you're fine. Otherwise, they connect you with a mentor, and you have to work your first 3 transactions with a mentor. Now, I mean, you've been selling restaurants for a long time and have sold way more than 3, so you don't have to worry about having a mentor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to use the the California Real Estate Association for the CAR forms. That would not be accepted. So the standard is
EXP commercial is not a member of the National Association of Realtors.
Okay.
Or California Association of Realtors. And quite honestly, I hate those CAR forms. Every time I see one of those, it makes my head hurt. So if the CAB forms are just so much better.
Yeah.
And so much more tailored. And the reality is that it's funny because National Association of Realtors, when you read their code of ethics, one of the things they say is stay in your lane. If you don't know how to do it and whatever, then bring somebody on who does. And honestly, it's like with C.A.R trying to get these business broker forms out there, they have zero education on them. Because I was talking to one of the California Association of Realtors, I was talking to one of their attorneys, because they were in the process of redoing their business forms. And I was like, why are you guys redoing your forms instead of just having an alliance with CAB? If somebody wants to do business brokerage, they should really be joining CAB because that's where they get the proper education for how to do business sales and so forth.
That's right.
And we already have forms. We don't need them. We don't need C.A.R to redo them. So C.A.R, so they redid their forms, but to my knowledge, they still have no education. So they have a bunch of resi agents that
Yeah.
are taking on a business broker form and filling it out the best they can, but really don't understand it because they've never had any training in business sales. And yeah, I mean, it's a recipe for disaster, and it goes 180 against NAR's code of ethics and stay in your lane. But I don't know. Who am I,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Funny you mentioned that because I was actually one of the participants on that panel for business brokering changing or updating the contract. So that
Mm,
was like a I think a 1 week or 2 week kind of session. And then we did our Zoom and then kind of had our input for business brokering. So it's funny how you said that. Yeah.
yeah. No, I hate that form. I come across it every once in a while, and like I said, it just makes my head hurt because car forms, they put everything in the world into it, and then you have to check a box to indicate whether it applies or not. And so to read a car form and really get to understand what the contract actually is, there's so much extra stuff in there that doesn't apply. And so
Okay.
that's why I like, so with CABB, we use a platform called Legito, which is a automation and assembly. It's document automation and assembly. So when you go in to generate a contract, let's say it's a purchase agreement, if there may be questions in there. If it's an asset purchase agreement, well, the first question is what kind of purchase agreement? Is it asset, stock, or membership interest? And so you tell it what kind, and then the rest of the form is going to adjust based on what kind it is, because there are
Oh,
questions that you want to include if it's a stock purchase that you don't want to include if it's an asset purchase agreement, and vice versa. So it'll tailor the form and the input to that, and the contract that it assembles.
okay.
So it just, but
Interesting.
that way, when you're looking at your contract, you don't have a bunch of extra stuff in there. There's still a little bit, but not as much. It's much easier to understand what the contract is. So
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,